So I want to shift over a bit and hear about you building up the company. First, how many employees do you have?
I think we have about 1,400 employees today.
It's a lot of employees. Okay. So what did that look like growing to have that many employees under you? Like, how do you think about leadership styles and keeping your culture? What did that look like growing as quickly as you did?
It's tough. I think that I was someone that have worked at a bunch of startups before, and you heard all the sort of culture stuff and whatnot. And I was always kind of cynical about it and said, all these companies, they say the same things in culture. What does it really mean? It's a bunch of BS. But I think that I saw when we went from, I guess it was about 150, 200 people, where the culture that was enforced just working together and stylistically needed to be more formalized. And that was the first time that we formalized our culture and created sort of like 8 core values around our culture. And then as we scaled up more and more and more, we felt like it was pretty hard for people to get direction because 8 is a lot, right? So the last 6 months, we refocused it on just 4 core values that we've really tried to instill to people about what we're about. And I think if you get them right, recruiting should get mad at you, because if you get it right, it should make recruiting's job a lot harder. I think that the biggest mistakes we've made about hiring people that didn't work out, and look, I think it's the company's fault when people don't work out, right? I think it's almost always the company's fault because the hiring manager, the company, whoever it is, they didn't think enough about what the characteristics were to be successful in the role. They didn't support the person enough when they joined the company. Really is the company's fault for that not working out. And I think some of that does come back to what our real company values are. And I think when you have too many of them, it's hard to know what really matters. I worked at a place once that had like, 10 core values, not a company I started. And it was like the values were contradictory. Like there would be
Because there's
one
so
value
many.
and then,
They have to be.
but a bunch of them were contradictory, like,
Yeah.
like directly contradictory. And you'd be like, aren't value 2 and value 8 like directly contradictory? And you're like, yeah, they are, but that's because it shows our balance. And it's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. So we try not to be contradictory in our core values as well. And I think people should be able to go in an interview, and when someone brings up values, they should just know, here's our core values. Here's 4 of them. I can remember them. I know about them. And when we talk about why someone, is performing or not, we can point to those.
Okay. So what are your 4 that you whittled down to?
To me, I think there's 4. The most important, though, to me is default to action, which is just this idea that speed is far and away the best offense as well as the best defense for business. And it means a lot of things. It means that you recognize that there are very few decisions that you make that you can't change your mind later. It also embraces a culture of changing your mind and being able to kind of go another direction when new evidence is available to you, and lack of fear of something not working out, lack of fear of failure, and saying, look, we're going to ship a bunch of stuff and a bunch is not going to work, but we tried a bunch of stuff and we're going to find something in what we try to make it work. And I do think that's, to me, again and again, I come back to that and I tell people, like, that's the core thing. And if you're not okay with this idea that, like, hey, we might work on something a bunch for a month or two, and then we might just throw it away. That's actually what made the business success. We actually had a major deal, like a 7-figure deal that was at the end stages of legal and was about to sign. And I actually emailed them and I said, hey, we decided we're not going to do this anymore. We're doing something else. And I remember their response was like, what are you talking about? Like, we're an enterprise company. We're at like the end of a 2-month legal process. We're signing this big contract with you. We're going to spend a lot of money. Are you crazy? Like, this is a startup's dream. What are you doing? And we looked at it and we just said, look, we don't think this business is going to be a big business. So like, we're getting rid of it. But I think that is one of the hardest things for companies to do. I think that the second thing for us that I think resonates a lot is that hard work solves big problems. And kind of what that means is that we're not the type of company where people are going to go on a 4-day work week, right? We're not the type of company that's going to talk a lot about not working as much and making sure that there's always this balance of not working or feeling like reduced hours and whatever. It's a company of people that like to work. Like generally our leadership team and our managers, like, they all like to work. There are some people that like working and you want those people to work at your company.
Hmm.
There's some people that don't, and that's fine. That's
Yep.
great
They
too.
can
But
work at the other companies.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of large tech companies you can go retire at.
Yeah.
to not really, that you could go work at. And I like to be real with candidates and say, look, you could go make a similar amount not working nearly as hard somewhere else. Now, will it challenge you? Will it be as interesting to you? Will it be something that you grow a lot in your career in? We're going to hopefully give you that. We're going to give you a challenge. We're going to give you growth. We're going to give you really something you can be proud of that you're building. But it's very different, I think, than what you might find at some other places where that's not the case, where they really lean into those other components more. The third one's called Be Attentive. And, to me, that's like a little self-explanatory, but like it's the name of the company, of course, but it's also just like showing kindness and generosity and just kind of generally being nice to people and being not like a jerk and all that sort of stuff. Our last one is never settle. It's just this mindset that we don't ever want to just like call it an A and say that's okay and move on from something. We want to make sure that we're always kind of following through to leave everything we possibly can and deliver the best product to our customers.
Hey, thanks for watching. This segment was made possible by our friends at Salesforce Commerce Cloud. If you're looking for the #1 platform for all your commerce needs, go check out salesforce.com/commerce. And don't forget to subscribe below and tap that little bell icon so you can stay on top of all the amazing new segments and full episodes that we'll be putting out over the coming year with some of the best and most influential commerce leaders out there.